Look out, everybody. I'm back. What are we doing? I think we need to... Oh, no, there's more stuff to do for the humans, actually. We do still need to keep track of how many humans there are and keep them all on a DS map. Because the animals need to be able to loop through all of the humans. That is true. But the humans themselves don't. Interesting. We need to make more DS maps, I suppose. And we also need more... Wait, we already kind of... No, we already kind of have that. We do have that. Okay. We already have a thing that tracks how many of each gift there is, so we can just reuse that. The keys are almost like... No, that's not true. They're almost redundant, but they're not. We do actually need them. So... It's pretty much just hunters, guards, and shaman, isn't it? If we have like a global... what's the other one called? Where even is it? Is it in the tracker? Might be in the... Or is it a local variable? Could be a local... Where is it? I'm assuming it's just called global gods, etc. Is it in here? Yes, there it is. Okay. I'll just call it instance count gods, even though... No, wait, instance count is a different thing. We can't call it global gods because that's what we already call the other thing. Maybe we just call it like... I mean, I could just call it the God map. Because the other one is the plural, right? No, it's not. It's God. But this one could actually be gods. It's going to get very confusing. But it's all... Yeah, when is it not? Hunters. The problem is shaman. The plural of shaman is shaman. So maybe we just call it that. Hunters, gods, shaman. Those are the only ones we're looking at. And then for the other one, well, I guess we could just use a DS map instead of a... I was going to suggest we use a list, but we can make it faster if we don't. We can have an injured humans map. And then basically whenever we assign a gift, one of these 3 gifts to somebody, we need to add them to the map. Or if somebody gets injured, we need to add them to the map. This is not something I've tried before. I mean, I've added things to maps before, but I mean, we're going to need probably some kind of check to make sure they're not already on the map. Maybe. It's kind of redundant. There are, normally whenever I add something to a list, I first check that it's not already on the list. Just to be safe. But there are probably some times where I don't need to do that. And this is probably one of them. DS map, add. This is with clicked, right? We're running this code on the object that you're dropping. Pretty sure about that. Yes. So we can have, the thing is we have a key, right? We have a key, but also Also, we need like a gift key, I guess. And I'm supposed to be doing this before I increment the thing with global clicked. DS map add global shaman map key would be, well, we've got to set it. We got to set gift key. Maybe it should have been key gift. Whatever. Gift key equals just equals global dot shaman, basically. Do we even need? Why do we need this variable? We need this variable so we can remove them again later. Gift key value ID. Okay, so if we make this person a shaman, we add them to the shaman map. We give them a key. But we also have to do ds map delete. God damn it. Let me open this script because it seems to go back to the top every time. Drop. So the other one's the hunters. Global hunter minus equals 1. I guess I'll do it before that. Hunter map. Gift key. So you would do it like that. So if they were a hunter and you're reassigning them to be a shaman, we got to remove them from the hunter map. Same if they were a god. Might as well just go through and do all of those now. Jesus Christ. Maybe I'll just fix this real quick while I'm here. Tile equal. It's a one-off, so not really so bad. But yeah, until there is actually some other way for them to drown in the ocean besides the player dropping them in there, I should probably disable that stuff and just check whether they're in the ocean when you drop them once, instead of constantly checking whether they're in the ocean. So definitely, you know, it might be useful later on if we introduce something else that can cause them to fall in the ocean or something, but right now it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's that. Okay, I think I got all of them. Okay, and now we actually need to add them to the maps, right? Of course. But it's only for a few of them. It's only for 3 of them. This one. Don't forget to set the key as well. Okay, but then there is also my demo script. Oh shit, there's also the Twitch integration stuff as well, because Twitch chat can change their gifts as well. This time I need to do spawned human dot gift key. Probably would have made more sense to just use a with for this stuff, but here we are. I think it's probably faster as well. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, and the Twitch stuff. I gotta do both of them in here as well. Yeah, if I made like each one of these into its own function, I wouldn't have to update it in 2 places. That would be nice. Why does it seem like there's way more stuff going on in this script? Probably because there is. Yeah, I think there actually is. I remember now. We had to do some extra stuff because when the player assigns a gift to a human, you can guarantee that the player has just dropped them. So they're not going to be inside of a tent or anything like that, and we can guarantee that they're in the idle state. When a Twitch chatter decides to change their gift, they could do that at any time. So it did have some additional stuff that we had to take care of. And then there's the other stuff. You know, it's honestly been amazing to be a part of this community, the GameMaker community, and the GameMaker Twitch community. Everyone's been so supportive and kind and positive, and it's just been great, and such a stark contrast to the people in my actual life, you know. I mean, like, the people in real life, you know. It's like people actually support what I'm doing in this community, whereas people in real life are just like, oh, that sounds stupid, why don't you just give up and get a real job, you fucking hippie, you know. It's amazing how unsupportive people are. It's like you tell them about what you're doing and they're not like, oh, that's cool, or even better, that's cool, how can I like support you or something. They're always like, what are you, a fucking idiot? Why don't you just get a real job? I don't know, it's a very toxic culture. People hate to see anybody doing anything like they're passionate about, or, you know, pursuing their dreams. They think you should just give up and be miserable like they are. You know, I can definitely see can definitely understand the point Dr. K was trying to make when he said that the number one predictor of success in life is supportive parents. Because if your parents don't support what you're doing, if they believe that you should just do what they want and that you don't have any, like, choice, and you don't get to exist as an individual, you only get to exist as an extension of them and what they want, you're gonna have a pretty hard go of it. You're gonna have a bad time. I can definitely attest to that. Everything's a battle, you know. You're just constantly, you know, the very people who are supposed to support you are just constantly trying to sabotage you. Okay, I think that's everything I need to do there. So we've done Twitch commands, we've done demo script, we've done the regular gift assignment. So now we need to do the cleanup, which thankfully is just the one cleanup event here. And I guess I'm gonna need to do some gift checks. So we should have all of our shaman, hunters, and guards on these maps now, and that should all be updated whenever it needs to be. And so we're going to need some additional variables. Current human, we're going to need, well, we don't need that one at all, so we can rename that one, and we're going to need 3 more. Current shaman, current hunter, current guard, and current injured human. Those are our new ones, and then we're going to need there we go. Shaman check, hunter check, guard check, and injured human check. And yeah, I guess we're going to need some additional distances for those as well. Ooh, hunter party distance. Can we just group that in? Can we like ever have a hunter distance and just group it in? Probably. I think so. Must be a human distance somewhere, no? Is that just called distance? No, I already have separate ones. Is that what it is? Hunter party distance, guard distance. Okay. Let's just change this one to be hunter distance, and then guard distance, shaman distance, and it's called like lowest health human distance or something. No, there is no distance. What am I talking about? There's no distance involved with that. So it's lowest health. It's this health. It's lowest health and this health. Okay. And then we need. So we got hunter distance, guard distance, shaman distance. We need hunter this distance, guard this. Okay, we got it. We got it. And then this is not going to be in one universal thing that loops through all of the humans anymore. Human check is not even going to be a thing anymore. It is not. We removed it. Good. So I've got to split this up. The easiest way to do it might be just duplicating the whole thing and stripping it down. And through all the humans. So we've got just our 4 things, right? So if I duplicate this 3 more times and start breaking it down, so our first one can be scanned through all hunters. This becomes hunter check. Oh, current. We're going to need, okay, current. Where are those? I already have current shaman, current hunter, current guard, current injured human. Okay, I just have no short-term memory apparently. I already did that. So this becomes current hunter. Find the nearest hunter in the hunting party. Yep. And then the guards and, yeah, nearest guard, nearest shaman, lowest health human, that all needs to be removed. And then this needs to be changed to hunter check. And current hunter. And then we've got nearest. I think we still output to nearest hunter party, right? The fuck am I? What am I doing here, dude? I wanted this to be the top one, but I didn't do that. Let me move it. Oh, right, and this is just called hunter distance now, right? Not hunter. Hunter this distance. Hunter this distance. And the other one is hunter distance. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, is like people change themselves to fit in, right? Instead of being themselves and then finding the right people who sort of accept them for who they are, they like try to become somebody else to fit in. Which is why they're miserable. Because if you're pretending to be somebody you're not just to fit in, you're still alone. Because people only like the mask that you're presenting, they don't really like you. But it's kind of weird because it's just like a lot of fake people doing that. And then I guess they get really triggered when they see somebody who's actually being themselves, and they're like, you can't do that. You can't just be yourself. Fuck you. Because they've spent their entire life trying to fit in. But again, it's like, the funny thing is, it's like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Just a bunch of people pretending to be who they're not to fit in with a bunch of people pretending to be who they're not. it seems like it would be much easier to just accept people for who they are. We'd probably, things would probably be a lot easier that way. But I guess like a lot of people are not even aware of what they're doing. They mustn't be aware of it, right? Otherwise they wouldn't do it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people don't know how to live. And then they just kind of become these miserable, resentful people. Because they never really figured out how to live. It's like the other self-fulfilling prophecy is, if you can convince everybody that money is real, then they'll behave as if it's real, right? And then they'll, you know, work these jobs that they hate and live for the weekend and all that, and become resentful to other people, and then they want everybody else to be just as miserable as they are. And then you get the whole thing where it's like, if you're actually pursuing your dreams or doing something you're passionate about, people resent you for that because they want you to be just as miserable as they are. So they want you to give up and get a real job and all that. But it's like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's it's true what they say, that the only limit is our own imagination, right? What people don't realize is that we actually have the power. Question is, can you imagine a better way to live? Or are you still stuck in a delusional reality that you're actually projecting onto the world? You know, it's a very, very difficult thing though, right? Because it requires a massive, like, global consciousness shift. I feel like something is missing here. It is. Where are the undefines? Oh no, wait, we don't need those for that. Right. I see. Oh, I'm going to change that to hunter map. Otherwise it's not going to work very well. Okay, let's go through it from the top. So I want to go through it from the very top. You got to go back here. Hunter check is undefined, right? If hunter check is undefined, hunter check equals find first hunter map. Hunter check is not undefined. Current hunter equals map find value hunter map hunter check. If current hunter exists, right, we don't need this anymore because we know. Well, no, what this is. How do we handle for that? Because it's also only hunters that need to be running this stuff in the first place. This is like hunters counting how many other hunters are nearby, and hunters finding the nearest hunter in the hunting party. It's only hunters that really should do this stuff. So we probably want to encapsulate the whole thing in this gift hunter check. The one thing would be if you reassign their gift and they're no longer a hunter, we do need to reset this stuff. I mean, that's kind of unavoidable. It's still going to be a big performance increase overall doing this stuff, so wouldn't worry too much about that. So all of this goes inside of one of these. Yeah, what is it? Divide and conquer, right? That's divide. That's how the powers that be control us, right? Disempower us is to turn us all against one another. Make sure that we're divided over political issues or religious issues, or that we're all in a competition for survival with one another, right? And that's how they control the population. But if you can sort of see beyond that, then you can actually make a choice about like how you're going to live differently. What we don't, it's very strange because people get into this mindset of, right, I've got to get ahead, I've got to beat everyone else, I've got to get to the top, you know, it's the rat race or whatever. I've got to hustle, the grind culture and all that bullshit. What people don't realize is that if we actually all just decided to cooperate, if we all decided to help one another, we'd be like unstoppable. We'd be invincible, right? Apes together strong. We have the power, right? We're disempowered when we allow them to turn us against one another. A divided people is a fallen people, as they say. But it's, I don't know, I guess it must be pretty hard to become aware of this stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes when the damage is done, it's irreversible. So sometimes it's not actually possible for people to change. A lot of times it is. A lot of times it's possible to intervene. But sometimes it's not actually possible, which is kind of sad. That's probably the saddest thing, is that, like, a lot of people just, it is a lot of people when you think about it. A lot of people just have to die off to make way for, like, the new world to emerge, because they can't actually change. They can't be cured, or whatever you would say. And it's not like some they're not bad people. It's not some moral failing or something. It's just how the brain works, apparently. Is like, if somebody experiences trauma and becomes a sociopath, there is no cure for that. There is nothing that we're aware of that can reverse that. The damage is permanent. And so, unfortunately, all we can try and do is, like, minimize the amount of harm that they do until they eventually die. A little bit dark. A little bit of a dark topic. Maybe not the most cheerful thing to contemplate. Okay, now I've got all of that in there. Right, I'm going to go through it from the top again. Hunter check is undefined. Hunter check first. Hunter map. Not undefined hunter check. Current hunter value. Hunter map. Hunter check. If current hunter exists with current hunter, right, we know it's a hunter, so we don't need this. For one. Oh shit. That's not what I was trying to do. We don't need that. We still want to do this. So if it's not the calling instance, it's not on fire, it's not in any one of these states, and it's within perception radius, then we're going to go ahead and add it to the list, else we're going to remove it from the list. And then we're going to do with current hunter, if it's in the hunting party, and it, well, first, I think we probably should do this one first. Oh, where's my bracket gone? So if it's not me, it's in the hunting party, it's not in any one of these states. Funnily enough, they can still be on fire. Fair enough. Then until this distance equals the distance, and if hunter this distance is less than distance, then nearest hunter party temp equals ID, and hunter distance becomes hunter this distance. Hunter check, find next, hunter map, hunter check, not undefined, hunter check, current hunter value, hunter map, hunter check, else, nearest hunter party equals nearest hunter temp, hunter distance, reset, nearest hunter party temp cleared. And then this is the else if we like reassign their gift and they're no longer a hunter, then, well, that's not right. We want to clear this variable, reset the distance, clear this variable, set this back to undefined, and clear this variable. That's it. Okay, so now this will scan through all of the hunters in the hunter map and formulate the list of nearby hunters and locate the nearest hunter in the party. Oh, I was confused for a second. I was like, why are we doing it again here? And then we're going to make the next one. Where's this bracket? Okay. And this one can be guards. We'll get rid of all the other stuff. Scan through all guards. Guard check. I'm lost. Here we go. Current guard. Current guard. If instance exists, current guard. And now it's only hunters and guards who do this. I don't even know why the guards do this, actually. Why do the guards need a list of nearby guards? Let's find out. Thought they might have just needed the nearest. I thought it would be one or the other. I don't know why they need both. Why is a raven like a writing desk? I've still never been able to figure that one out. If anybody could tell me why a raven is like a writing desk, I would really appreciate it. We'd be looking at state attack. The state attack. Which is this one. So they use the nearby guards list for this. So what the fuck is the nearest guard thing? Oh, I'm misreading it. I'm misreading it, aren't I? It's not guard. Right. If gift not guard, I see. The guards are the only ones who don't need to do this thing. How do we... if we didn't have that, if we didn't have everything encapsulated in this, then they would still be like constantly looping through all of the hunters, but just not doing any of the stuff. Which is, obviously we don't want to do that. But then this one is like split. How do we handle that? The simple way to do it. No, that doesn't make any sense. We would have to split it into two, but then, we can't really do that. We definitely don't want to do that. If we do it the way that it's set up right now, everyone is going to be constantly cycling through all of the guards. And only the hunters and guards would do this bit, and only non-guards would do this bit. The inefficiency there is that guards... No, there is no inefficiency there, because they need to do that for this. Okay, there is no problem with that. Okay. That's fine. That is... No, there is still, as you can imagine, some inefficiency, like just the regular default human that hasn't had any gift granted to it would still be cycling through all of the guards. Nope, that's fine too. That's fine too. Okay, it's all fine. It is fine. Great. So, guard check, current guard. Guard check. Okay. Current guard. Current guard. Current guard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So, whoop, wait a minute. So with current guard, we no longer need to do this check, do we? Because we know that these are all guards that we're looking at. With current guard, and then nearest guard equals nearest guard temp. Guard distance resets. Nearest guard temp resets. That is it. And we never actually fully switch this tracker off, so we don't need to have the other resets like we did with the hunters. Is that it? I think that might be it. I'll go through it from the top. Guard check is undefined. If guard check is undefined, guard check equals first. Nope. That's definitely not right. Guard map is what we need there. If guard check is undefined, find first global guard map. Guard check equals first guard. If guard check is not undefined, current guard equals find value guard map. Guard check. If instance exists, current guard. If gift is hunter or guard with current guard, blah 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 blah. Add to list or remove from list. If gift does not equal guard with current guard, blah 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 blah. Find the nearest guard. Add it to the temporary variable. Guard check equals guard map, guard check, find next guard map, guard check. Not undefined guard check, current guard equals find value guard map, guard check. Else, nearest guard equals nearest guard temp, guard distance resets, and guard temp resets. That is it. And next is shaman. This will be scanned through all shaman. I don't know if my experience is particularly bad because I'm in the UK. I don't think so. I mean, I have a friend who moved to the States and he said it's the same. It's the same wherever you go, I'm pretty sure. Like, for lack of a better word, there's only really a tiny percentage of cool people in the world, like wherever you go. There's, you know, there's all kinds of racism and bigotry and all kinds of division wherever you go. Religious zealotism, is that the word? And, you know, psychopathy and sociopathy is obviously like a universal thing. Wherever there's humans, you'll find sociopaths and psychopaths. Lowest health human we want to remove from this. That's going to be its own thing. So for this one, we got shaman check. Shaman check, shaman check, shaman check. Shaman check, shaman check, shaman check, shaman check. Shaman check, 1, 2, 3. Current, here it is, current shaman. If instance exists, current shaman with current shaman. I think that is correct. We can remove this. Shaman can't heal themselves. But they can heal each other, so multiple shamans is always useful. If one of them gets hurt, the other one can heal them back up. Tend to remove the spaces from those, but it's weird. If it's an if statement, I don't put spaces here. But if I'm just declaring something, well, this is an if statement. If I'm just declaring something like that, I leave the spaces in. I don't know why. Usually when you're doing this, the lines are a lot shorter, right? But then again, if you break this down into multiple lines, each line is short. Anyway, I don't know what I'm thinking. But that's how I tend to do it now. And again, this is something that everybody does. So we don't need to like disable this if you're not a certain gift or whatever, which makes things a bit easier. Shaman check is undefined. If shaman check is undefined, shaman check equals find first global shaman map. Shaman check is not undefined, current shaman equals find value shaman map shaman check. If instance exists current shaman with current shaman, blah 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 blah. Shaman check equals find next shaman map shaman check. If not undefined, shaman check current shaman equals find value shaman map shaman check, else nearest shaman equals shaman temp, shaman distance reset, shaman temp reset. And then the last one will be for finding the lowest health human, which means we need to do a little bit of additional work to get all of the injured humans onto the injured humans map, because we're not doing that yet. But this should be a big improvement already, because say you've got 2 shaman in the tribe, we're no longer scanning through 42 humans, 40 of which are not even shaman, just to find the 2 frickin' shaman in there. And that's the case with the guards and the hunters as well, so it's really nice. And we're gonna do the lazy way. Across the lazy river. Across the Rio Ganges. What is it? The Rio Grande. Across the lazy river. Across the Rio Grande. Man, I could listen to that right now, but we can't listen to music because I'm streaming on YouTube as well. And if I'm not careful, I forgot about that when I played music on stream this morning. I could possibly get my YouTube channel banned if I'm not careful. So I need to actually remove the dance redeem, unfortunately, because when I'm doing these streams and I'm multi-streaming to YouTube, I can't play any music. Yeah, we're gonna do this the easy way. Damn, I wish I still had this is the one part where I wish I still had the original code. The most basic form of it is gonna be like that, and oh geez, yeah, what do we we're just gonna use, no, we can't use a DS map. We have to use a DS list, or an array in this case. Yeah. I mean, we could use a DS map. We could use a DS map. We can use a DS map, okay. But we need an extra thing. We need an instance count injured humans, basically. But yeah, it does mean I have no, oh shit. Well, Oh, it's easier to just use a list. It really is. I think this is an instance where using a list is actually the better choice. Otherwise, it's just needlessly complicated. We already have one set up, so we'll use it. Boom. I mean, that's it, really. That is it, really. It's like your health is 0, but no, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah, I've died. It's my bad. Health is less than 100. No, that's why this stuff is important. But you're not. Health is less than 100, but you are not dead. You're just injured. You're in that sweet, sweet middle ground. Okay. And it does actually work perfectly. I remember this last time. You can just put the else. Well, you could do else if, I suppose. Does not equal -1. DS list delete. Right. So it's like if my health is not less than 100 and I'm on this list, I'm going to remove myself from the list. If I am dead, I guess I'm going to remove myself from that list. So it just kind of works perfectly. Really quite elegant. I like that. So that takes care of everything. That adds them to the heal list and removes them from the heal list. So now we can just use that list. Where are we at? Scan through all shaman, reset, scan through all humans. Here we go. But this one is different because it uses a list, not a map. So we're gonna wind up using like, how the fuck are we gonna do this? I don't know. We'll figure it out. In fact, there's an example of something similar in the wolf code, so maybe we should look at that. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. It's nice. It's like even simpler than a for loop. Pretty cool. So we would do like we're gonna just do the whole thing can be encapsulated in a DS list not empty check for one. Current. Presumably I have a current injured human, yep. And if DS list not empty, global heal. Current injured human equals. Do I have an injured human check? I must do, right? Yep. So we do. How do we do the reset? Just like that. Okay. DS list find value global heal injured human check. Injured human check actually needs to be 0, not undefined by default. Okay, and then current injured human. True that also only shaman should do this. So probably the whole thing, similar to how we did the hunters, should be encapsulated in that. Nope, that's not what I was trying to do. If you're a shaman, and the global heal list is not empty, current injured human equals DS list find value global heal injured human check. If instance exists current injured human with current injured human, we know their HP is less than 100 now because they wouldn't be on that list otherwise. If it's not yourself and they're not inside or in any of these states and they are within your perception radius, then perform the check on them, ultimately returning the lowest health human once we finish scanning through them all. And then we have to do we don't even use a temp. I see. So there won't be an injured human temp in the wrong object. Or lowest health human. Lowest health human temp. That no longer exists. We go direct to the source. And we literally just get rid of all of this and put one of these in. I love it when I already have the code written somewhere. I'm so lazy. Injured human check is less than DS list size global heal -1. Injured human check plus equals 1, else injured human check equals 0. The only problem with this is that it's, yeah, maybe we do need to bring back the thing. Yeah. Because it's like, it's updating the lowest health human before it's actually finished scanning through them all. So it's not necessarily actually going to be the lowest health human. Would cause which would cause the shaman to switch targets a lot more. They'd be switching targets like crazy. Normally it's fine, because if the lowest health human changes, then they switch targets. But if we didn't offload it, if we didn't store it in a temporary variable, not, I don't mean like, obviously that's a local variable, but you know what I mean. We didn't store it temporarily before offloading it to lowest health human, they would be like switching targets like every step as it kept updating the lowest health human before actually finding the true lowest health human. So basically it needs to be like part of this, like that, and then I suppose it makes sense to reset lowest health and maybe this health. Probably. Let's just play it safe and do that. So yeah, now once it's finished scanning through them all, it updates lowest health human and resets everything. And that's that. But I guess just in case we convert them from a shaman into something else, we don't want it kind of getting janked up. So we also to do so we reset everything. Lowest health human, this health, lowest health, injured human check, and current injured human. Oh, I fucked that up, didn't I? So if you're not a shaman, or the global heal list becomes empty, or you are a shaman and the global heal list becomes empty, then we just reset everything. Just, you know, it has to be done basically to avoid any issues. Make sure everything like runs cleanly, or the character behavior all is clean. But it does mean that everybody who's not a shaman is constantly overriding these variables, but that shouldn't be a major issue. It's still going to be a hell of a lot better than it was. Hey Fish, how's it going, dude? I think that's everything. No doubt, I probably fucked something up along the way here, but we can test it and see. Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy how you just sort of, you learn something and then you look back at your past self and you're like, this guy didn't know anything. Like, what was this guy thinking? Will it run? Will it blend? Doing pretty good, thanks. Yeah, made some good progress on the game today and managed to get a workout in as well. Holy shit, would you look at that? The frame rate has actually gone up. Noticeably. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've gained like a good. Okay, I don't know. It's dropping again, but still, we're moving in the right direction. I'd say we've gained a good like 10 FPS today, something like that. Lighting. I have very basic lighting. Yeah. It's nothing fancy. There's plugins. If you want fancy lighting. There's plugins. There's a plugin. I forget what it's called. I believe Freshwater Fern used it in her game. Probably find out. Hold on. I think I got some stuff bookmarked. Basically, I'm not using the plugin because I'm using the isometric perspective, and it wouldn't really work for that. Let's see. To the Juju Adams stuff. It's called Bulb. It's by Juju Adams. I'll just put this link in chat. It's 2D lighting and shadows plugin. You know, I haven't looked into this because I don't use it, but if you're doing like top-down or side-scroller, I think it's great. But for isometric, it wouldn't really work. Not without like heavily modifying it or something. So I kind of use my own. That's not true, actually. No, I probably can use it. It's just about making sure the shapes of the lights are. It's the shadows that I wouldn't be able to use. That's right. Probably wouldn't be able to get the shadows like to look isometric or whatever. That's what it is. Would be really nice, but yeah, you can see it's becoming nighttime now. You can see. So I'm just doing very, very basic lighting, where I have a dark mask over the whole screen, and sorry, a dark, what's it called? I'm totally blanking on the. What is it called? Canvas? Surface. There, thank you. I've got a surface, just a black surface on the screen, and then I'm punching through it with these masks, and I'm getting the flicker effect by just like making small adjustments to the alpha of the mask to get like the flame flicker. Yeah. You'll be able to use the same method for flashlights for sure. I think this tribe is doomed. It doesn't help that I'm leaving them to die. But the frame rate seems pretty good, I guess, kind of. I don't know, it hasn't increased that much, to be honest with you. but the most important thing is that everything works. Let's have a look at the lighting stuff, because it's been a while. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you exactly. That's more to do with my day-night cycle. You don't need to worry about that. Same with this stuff as well, really. I have it so that, like, you know, as the time of year changes, the sunrise and sunset time is different. As like the days get longer and shorter, is what I'm trying to say. What in God's name is any of this stuff? Guess it's all basically in the draw event then. Surface exists surf. So yeah, I've got my surface, and then I am like drawing a giant black rectangle that takes up the whole screen. Oh, sorry, that's if the surface does not exist, then I must be creating the surface and drawing the rectangle. If the surface does exist, now we've created it, we are going to, we're setting like camera position here and stuff. We're targeting the surface. This is the cloud coverage. So it gets a little bit darker if it's cloudy. Don't really know what this is for. And then, so lightning, if there's a lightning strike, then we set the alpha to 0 so that the screen lights up. Else we set it back to normal, which is the sun plus the cloud coverage divided by 100 to get a value between 0 and 1 for the alpha level. GPU set blend mode. What is that? When GameMaker goes to draw a pixel. Oh, right, subtract. So I guess that's like mask mode. That's how we do the masks. So once we've drawn the surface, then we go blend mode, subtract. And this is my miracle light. I have like a miracle which just emits light from the cursor. And that just draws this flare sprite. Really, I use a flare sprite for that. Fair enough. Draws the flare sprite at the cursor position with an alpha of 1. And because it's a subtract, then it just punches a hole through that surface. And then I've got my... with object light. Originally the plan was to have like everything would be based off of this object light, but then I didn't really do it that way. I do still use that for the campfire apparently, but or do I? I don't know. But some of them are like the humans directly, like when they leave the sphere of influence, they have that little flame above their head, right? So with object human, I get like the center, I like center it up on the sprite. And then it's just a case of like, yeah, we're just in this blend mode and then we just draw a sprite pretty much. At whatever position you want it to be. So you'd like have your torch, you want like a big cone that like fades out, right? And then you want the origin point of that sprite to be at like the source of the light, the small end of the cone, right? And you'd like line that up to wherever on your character sprite you want it to be. Yeah, and you can, you know, draw a sprite. You can do all the good stuff, set the color and all that. You can do rotation in there, so you probably want to like rotate it to point towards the cursor or something. And then I have alpha 1, but then I'm modifying it with this flicker value, which is probably one of these alarms is doing or something. I don't know. Actually, it seems everything. I think I went the extra mile and gave everything its own unique flicker, so they all have slightly different flicker. Otherwise, it kind of looks like they're all the same, which is a bit weird. So that's actually a local variable on the human object. So there's probably an alarm on the human object or something that's constantly modifying the flicker amount. No worries. No, it's good to take a look at this because it's been a long time since I did this stuff. But yeah, I think it's like once you kind of get the surfaces and the blend mode and stuff, the rest is pretty straightforward, right? It's just like you've got to know which functions to use. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, lighting is it always really adds a lot to the game. Even basic lighting like this. But if you want really fancy lighting without having to do all of the work yourself, I'd definitely check out that bulb plugin because you can get really nice lighting, you know, without having to do a lot of work because somebody just built it for you, basically. Oh yeah, for sure. And the batteries could run out and stuff. Oh, and I think I don't know why this shows up twice. Didn't I have a miracle light thing? Oh yeah, yeah, it's the paranormal energies making the lights flicker. Global mode equals light. Oh, yeah, that confused me. This is just literally like a little, like a cursor thing, like the little effect that I put on the cursor. That's not the actual lighting. That's just the thing on the cursor that lets you know which miracle you have selected. This is the actual lighting for the light miracle. And then this one for fire. If you have the fire miracle selected, it emits a smaller light from the cursor. And I added this thing like auto disable because I thought that's a nice quality of life if you don't have to remember to keep switching it on and off when the sun goes up and down. It just like automatically turns off in the morning. Saves your energy, saves power essentially, because it costs 1 power per second to keep the light on. And then set GPU blend mode back to normal. You probably have to do that because that will be like global, so any sprites that you drew after this point would be in the subtract blend mode or whatever it was still. And you got to reset your alpha and reset your surface target, it looks like, and then the last thing that we finally do at the end is draw the surface. I think there might be some complications. I think probably the most no, actually. It looks pretty straightforward. I was just wondering if, like, I had to take into consideration the camera position to make sure that the lights were being drawn at the right place on the screen or something, but it doesn't really look like I've had to do anything too crazy or have it. Wait a minute, what is this? Because I've got camera width, camera height, and the X and Y position, right? And then say the light that I'm drawing for the campfire, I'm drawing that at X minus the camera X position. Which so x minus the camera position gives us the difference between the camera position and the campfire position. Right? Yeah, so I did have to do that, I guess, to get the lights to draw in the right place. Although I don't know why there's a plus 16 on there. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, it's been a long time since I did any of this stuff. That one doesn't have a plus 16. The X position? I think I know why that is. I think it's basically just to get it to line up on the middle of the campfire instead, because the origin point is in the bottom left corner. But then again, why isn't the Y position plus 8 then? It probably should be. Actually, we take the Y position of the campfire and we minus the Y position of the camera. We subtract Y position of the camera from that. So we get the difference. So we have like the distance from the top of the screen to the campfire. Right. Because the surface is like the size of the view window, right? The surface doesn't cover the whole room, right? It's just the view window. So to get everything to line up, you have to do it that way. Yeah, I think that should be minus 8, basically. That's the benefit of going back and looking at old code. You'll always find something. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it that all of this math is going on in the background, and the lights wouldn't even be in the right place if we if we didn't do it. So I just need to make sure everything's actually working now that we've updated the human code. So, well, maybe I should enable some debug stuff so I can just see it more easily. How are you going anyway, Fish? I don't think I asked. All right. Sounds good. Can't beat a new grill. What am I looking for here? I think I deleted a lot of this stuff thinking I would never need it again. And look where we are now. Oh, hell yeah. Hope you have a great time. Hope she has a great time, mainly. Okay. Oh wow, yeah. I bet that's... But I can't remember how to duplicate a line of code. There we go. Yeah, that's gotta be crazy. DS list not empty. Nearby hunters would be one thing. String width nhunt plus string DS list size nearby hunters. Oh, I never disabled this one. Nearby guards. Alright, dude. Thanks for the look. Just that I don't want to mess with the line spacing, so I'll just do like... So I still don't think we've checked if they can enter the huts. Really should check that. That's pretty much everything, I think. And yeah, let's make it so that all of the tents are pre-built, just so we can check that they can actually use them. Okay, don't actually need to test anything with the predators, so we might as well just head to Beginner Island for now. Jesus. Whoa. This is wild. I should nudge that up a bit. Jesus, I'm feeling it in my chest a bit today. Just gonna have to make sure I eat an absolute mountain of food. That seems to be the only thing. It's like I cannot eat enough food to prevent myself from getting sick, basically. I'm pretty consistently hitting 2,500 calories a day now. I mean, I'm not like really getting sick, let's be honest, but I like feel a bit of a chesty cough coming on or something. I never really get fully sick, but it's like I'm always, not always, but what happens is I'm always like, can't stop saying always, for fuck's sake. I'm right on the edge, you know, it's borderline. That's how I know that I'm pretty much doing as much as I'm capable of, because if I did any more, I would get sick. I'm right on the limit. So yeah, all of the hunters know that they have 3 other hunters nearby. And everybody seems to be tracking the nearest guard and nearest shaman perfectly, as far as I can tell. Although that doesn't seem to be the nearest one anymore. Why is it not updating? Maybe it... is it just me? It's hard to tell what the hell's going on. Yeah, that definitely is not the nearest shaman. Why are they targeting that one? There's definitely a nearer shaman than that. Okay, what's up with that? Just gotta close the window. Hmm. I don't know, it all looks fine to me. Why are they not updating to the nearest shaman? Let's run a test where we like just have some shaman in the map and then we don't have to have all of that visual noise. Okay, those ones are updating. What was going on last time? Also, I've got to wonder, like, what happens if they go out of range. Okay, it just detaches. Okay, it's working here. It seems to be working here. What was going on last time? Because I swear they were all still targeting that shaman that was like quite far behind them when they were returning from the stream. But there were a couple of shaman closer than that. We have 3 shaman this time. And everybody basically just seems to be targeting this one. Regardless of... See, there's another one right there. But they're all targeting this one. Why is that? That is very strange. I'm obviously missing something here. I have a feeling it might be... No, it's definitely not inside of another if statement, is it? I mean, it is, but not one we should be worried about. Oh, shit. Could it be that the shaman are not getting added to the map correctly? It definitely could be that. No, that was in the right place the first time there. Yeah, maybe I forgot to do that or something. Shaman. DS map add. Global shaman map spawned human gift key, spawned human ID. What about the other one? There's your problem. Forgot to do that. Jesus. The guard one is there. The hunter one is there. Just forgot to do the shaman one. Okay, they just weren't on the DS map, so they weren't getting scanned. Yep, it's like the third time I've done that now, even, because we did something similar with the animals the other day. That's why the wolves were ignoring the deer that was standing like right next to them when they were hunting, because they just weren't getting scanned. I'll just load that save back up, and where are all my lines? Where are my beautiful lines? Ah, oh, fuck, you gotta be shitting me. We gotta save and load all of that stuff. I didn't even think of that. Oh my god. Wait, no, shouldn't that just work? Well, not the gifts, no. Everything else is fine, because we just add them back to the map when the instance is created. No problem there. The gifts, yeah, there's your problem. I guess we want to build that into the load code. Right. Okay. I have something exactly like this. Where is that? Well, it was kind of, yeah. I can just reuse this, save a little bit of time. Only we're gonna do DS map add instead. Oh, we need to save and load gift key as well. Like, yeah, do we? Or do we need to actually reset it at this time? That's what we would need to do. Plus increment. Global. I'm just saying. Oh my god. Right. Oh my god. Oh, I should have used different variables. Didn't think far enough ahead. We just save and load the trackers. Well, if we save and load the trackers, then we can just save and load gift key. I think, yeah, we can just save and load gift key for the humans. That's fine. That is fine. Yeah. Okay. Normally we don't. Normally we like give them a new gift key and add them to the map. In this case, we want to save and load it. Wait, what? What is going on? Oh, there, is that it? There we go. Sweet Jeebus. I hope I don't add any more states to the game. It is funny, but like, when man, when somebody like playtests your game and they're like, oh, you should add this and add this and add one of these, and you're like, oh, that's about 6 months of work right there, dude. I mean, I don't think you fully understand the magnitude of the situation. There we go. Okay. So obviously my old save file will be broken now, but if I make a new one, we should be saving the gift key, and then when we load, we should be reassigning them to the map. And hopefully that just works. And the other stuff was fine because they always get added to the map on create. When you load a save, all of the instances get created, obviously. But the gift maps, they only get added to when you assign the gift to them. Is it working? I can't tell. It's just fucking lines everywhere. I think it's working. How many shaman have we got? We got 2. We got just the 2. Yeah, it's working. I saw it switch there. Beautiful. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. It's working. Oh, can they use the tents? We still haven't actually... Why do I feel like I'm missing something? No, it's fine. I'm missing something because I didn't have to do that, I guess. Would be the reason. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, the nearby guards and nearby hunters trackers seem to be working. The nearest hunter party nearest guards, nearest shaman trackers seem to be working. We don't have anything set up for the lowest health human, but I believe we did see the shaman doing some healing before, so at least we know that they're healing successfully. Maybe if somebody... I would have to like set somebody on fire because there's no deadly creatures in this map. Set this guard on fire. They will heal them. Beautiful. Beautiful. And they're entering the tents even. That's really good. Okay. Hell yeah. And I dare say my frame rate has improved by at least 1 FPS. So I'm fully on the optimization train now. I'm just gonna keep optimizing. Like, I've done all the major optimizations, but now I'm just gonna do all of the little things just to improve performance, just 1 frame at a time. And hopefully, if I do enough of that, it will add up to a nice performance increase. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, like knowing what I know now, I would just write it this way in the first place, right? But I just, that's not how I was thinking back then. Back then I was like, they need to know where the nearest tree is. Let's constantly check 600 trees every nanosecond to find the nearest one. But now I'm like, yeah, I can see how that's pretty inefficient. We only need to check that once when they're looking for a tree to chop down. It is funny, you get so used to the drummer buff speeding everybody up that when they don't have it, you're like, why are they so slow? Oh man. This shit is gonna go crazy when we get like an artist on the team to make sprites and stuff. It's gonna go crazy, dude. Ooh. Why did these deer not get spooked? That's concerning. That is deeply concerning. Also, they only need to find the nearest hunter in the party if they're not already in the party. That is another optimization we can make. Yeah, my frame rate's definitely... Wait, what map are we in right now? We're in Beginner Island. Okay, I can't say for sure that this map has less creatures in it, so that's probably why. They don't need to be looking for the nearest hunter in the hunting party if they're already in the hunting party. Gotcha. So we can do an extra little if statement on this one. pretty sure that works. Let's just check that they can actually still join the hunting party, though. Of course, we only have one hunter this time. We need an extra hunter to test this. Where are they? Where are they? Can't even find them. There they are. Okay, let's convert this shaman into a hunter. Maybe I need to move him closer to his buddy. No, he does not want to join the hunting party, unfortunately. That is confusing. Oh, I'm in the with current hunter. Fuck. Okay, so yeah, that's a problem because I'm running this on current hunter instead of... I see. We would have to do a second with, but I think it would still be more efficient, right? We would need to... Wait a minute. Oh, what? No, there already is a second with. Where are we? What's going on? Yeah, no, okay, that's not it. Oh. No, I see the problem. Yeah, it's probably time for bed, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, we got it. Now they should be able to join the hunting party. They would check. I don't even know what they were doing there. Okay. They would... Yeah, they were looking to see if the hunting party list contained an entry called ID equals -1. And that would have had to have returned true. Did I start in test mode? Yes. I have 4 hunters this time, and indeed they all seem to have formed a party. What if I made an extra hunter? Would he be able to join them? You gonna join them? Yes. This took him a minute. Okay, so that's another sweet little optimization right there. Cool. I do believe it's working. Good. We can disable all of this debug stuff. Beautiful. Alright, well that's probably about it for today. Tomorrow I need to do the same kind of optimization on the animals. I mean, well, there's potentially room for more optimization on the humans still. It's the wrong event. Because the animals have, hey Fizzy, how's it going? The animals have very similar, like, trackers and stuff that they use to track things. And if we could switch those off when we don't need them, it would really help. Like, for example, we don't need to be constantly tracking the nearest prey, we only need to do that when they're hunting. That would be one big improvement. In fact, I think I haven't even done that for the humans yet, have I? So the humans are still constantly tracking, like updating the nearest prey, even when not actually hunting anything. So yeah, we're not really done optimizing the humans yet. And the predators, like, we could disable the predator tracker, if the nearest predator tracker, if there aren't really any predators in range, or even if just no predators exist, would be another one. Although I think it would kind of basically, yeah, it basically disables itself if no predators exist, doesn't it? Because this map is empty, so it's just not going to do anything. But yeah, where's the prey tracker? Nearest prey. Yeah. Well, okay. No, we are doing it. Good. I don't remember doing that. Maybe it was already like that. They don't update the nearest prey tracker unless they're actually in the hunting party, which implies that they are probably hunting. Although I think they can technically be in the hunting party whilst doing something else. But it's fine. It's fine. It's good enough. Yeah, okay. I'm probably just gonna rip this stuff out at some point, but we'll keep testing this new stuff for a while before I commit to deleting code. You never really want to delete code until you're absolutely certain that you don't need it. And then you'll delete it, and then a week later you'll need it. But still, best to wait. So, yeah. Just got to do the same for the animals tomorrow. We have quite a lot of animals in the map, especially deer. We have tons of those, and we have quite a lot of rabbits as well, although they have less complicated stuff going on, arguably. At least with the trackers, although the deer behavior is pretty insane. Just for now, I'm just going to leave the nearest threat trackers and nearest predator tracker enabled all the time. And they only do this stuff in autumn anyway. Yeah, these guys are... No, true, there isn't... Yeah. How would we know, though? Because the deer are constantly updating the nearby prey list so that they just are aware of all of the other animals around them, basically. So if they get spooked, they also, like, spook everything else nearby. That's a bit of a tricky one to know, like, when do we need to be doing that? Probably, like, if there's a human hunter within range or, somewhere nearby. Else we don't really need to worry about it. So you could do it like that, I guess. Or you could make it as simple as, like, if the humans are hunting, you know, if the human hunting party is empty, then don't bother doing it. Oh, but you would also probably... No, I think the same applies if they are being hunted by other animals, actually. That's a bit more challenging because whilst we've got, like, the wolves do hunt in parties, and we could potentially scan through the wolf dens to see if there are hunting parties or not. Things like the bears, they're solo hunters. It's harder to tell when the bears are hunting. We wind up just doing even more work, like trying to figure out if the bears are hunting or not. Yeah, these ones are harder to optimize, for sure. Although some of the stuff, like when we're tracking the nearest threat and we check the humans, look, we only... I don't even know why we check guards. It's not like the guards are going to attack the deer. That's that's ridiculous. I probably just like copy pasted that from somewhere and didn't think about it. They're only concerned about the hunters. So again, we can optimize this one now that we have a DS map that contains only our hunters. We can just scan through all of the hunters versus scanning through every single human. So that's nice, especially when there's like 80 deer in the map, if not more, doing that. That really helps. Or does it? No. That's the thing. That's the thing, actually. That's why we're not gaining much performance, isn't it? Because scanning through 42 humans at a rate of 1 human per step is exactly the same as scanning through 3 humans at a rate of 1 human per step. You're doing exactly exactly the same amount of stuff per step. So why the fuck did I do any of this? It's not really an optimization. Oh my god. Well, I've done it now. Shit. Oh, yeah. All I've really done is make them update their trackers quicker, which is nice because it makes things more responsive. You know, if I'm trying to find the nearest guard, I don't need to spend 42 steps scanning through 42 humans. I can just scan through the 3 guards in 3 steps and much more quickly update which one's the nearest one. So they'll be a bit more sort of responsive. That's the main change that we've achieved here. I'm not saying we haven't optimized anything today. We have, but not much. Like, the main one would be the lowest health human, because now we put the injured humans on a list, and if nobody's injured, we don't even bother like looking for the lowest health human because nobody's injured. Whereas previously we were still scanning through all of the humans constantly to try and figure out if any of them were injured and which one's the lowest health one, even if we didn't need to. So that's where the little bit of performance increase will have come from, basically that stuff. But for the most part, yeah, we're doing exactly the same amount of work per step. And that's why we haven't really gained much performance from doing any of this. We did also kind of reduce the amount of checks that we need to do, because Like, we just have all of our guards in a map. We know they're guards because we put them in the map because they're guards. So we don't have to look at all the humans and be like, "Are you a guard? Are you a guard?" So there's less checks. We are doing less checks for stuff like that. On the whole, not a great optimization though, but hey. The really good ones. Okay, no. Here we go. The good ones are where we're not scanning 600 trees constantly to find the nearest one. We only do that once when we're looking for a tree to chop down. Just once, just right before I need to chop down a tree. I'll pick one, I'm going to chop it down. Versus like, I'm not even, I'm drinking a pina colada. Is that how you say it? I'm kicking back, I'm having a drink, I'm chilling out, and I'm still in the background constantly trying to figure out which of these 600 trees is the nearest one for no reason. That's the definition of insanity, So those are the real optimizations. Same with we did the same with the bushes, right? I don't think it was quite the same with the bushes. The bushes, logs, mushrooms. I felt like there was a fourth one. I think it's just those three. The bushes, logs, and mushrooms. We only update the trackers when they're actually looking for those things now. The streams, unfortunately, we weren't really able to do. What did we wind up doing with the streams? Nearest, whatever you do, don't cross the streams. Nothing. We can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. Because they need to know where the nearest stream is before they even start like looking for it. That doesn't make sense. They need to know where the nearest stream is so that they can compare the distance between the stream and the store. I don't know, but they need to figure out what's closer, the stream or the store, so they need to know where the nearest stream is. We can't just figure out the nearest stream when they want to get a drink, right? That's the problem. I mean, we could do that, yes, but it's barely any different. It would be like such a minor improvement that I wound up just not doing it because it kind of gets pretty messy as well. I mean, at least you'd be... No, we decided, right? We decided that it's actually less efficient if you do that because you wind up doing... Well, we didn't actually do the math and figure it out, but you probably do more work that way than just checking one stream per step in the background. So, yeah, that was the one that we couldn't really optimize, but on the whole, a lot of the stuff is much better. The drummers will just check which drum is the nearest drum at the time of drumming. The humans will only try to figure out which drum is the nearest one when somebody's playing a drum. That's an improvement. Previously, they were constantly trying to figure out which drum was the closest. If nobody's actually playing a drum, they just don't do that anymore. So yeah, we did manage to find a few optimizations in there. Even if a lot of this stuff was not really the optimization that we hoped for. Yeah. Well, so I'm just going to have to decide what to do tomorrow based on this information. I'll, let that sort of process. I'll sleep on it, as they say, and figure out what we're going to do with the animal code tomorrow, because it may or may not be worth doing. We might want to turn our attention elsewhere. We might want to look for other things we can optimize. One of which I mentioned earlier today would be removing the thing that checks whether they should be drowning from the state condition script. Because the only time that they can be drowning is if you throw them in the ocean. So we know that we only need to check it when you do that, versus constantly checking it, which is what we're doing right now. Which was like a future-proofing thing for if I ever added something to the game that could cause them to fall in the ocean or something, right? But even then, well, it depends how you implement it, but even then we might know exactly when they wind up in the ocean and be able to just check it once at that time. I mean, you wouldn't even need to check it. No, well, it depends how you do it. Again, anyway, I'm starving, dude. I gotta go get something to eat. Let's see. Can we raid somebody up? It doesn't look like I have enough viewers, so I'm just gonna call it a night, I guess. Should I release this build? Why not? Why not? I dare say we could crank the version number up one more time, one more notch, and release this build. Uploading now. There we go. Okay, so this build is now available for Ko-fi members to download. And that is going to be it from me for today. Pretty happy with what we've managed to achieve. Not that I can remember what we've managed to achieve. What have we managed to achieve? I feel like I fixed some bugs and stuff as well. I don't know, did I? Oh yeah, we fixed the carpenters not fueling the fire when something requires building, right? Fixed carpenters not fueling fire when something requires building. I was trying to think of a better way of saying that, but and optimized human trackers That sounds like I've optimized the trackers that track humans, but I've optimized the trackers on the humans. Yeah, and I probably did one or two other things in there as well. I can't really remember at this point. Alright, let's push that to the repository. I hope I disabled all that debug stuff. I think I did. Yeah, looks like it. Good. Okay. Alright, nice. Well, yeah, I don't think we can raid anybody today, so I'm just gonna head out. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.